In this video, I want to go over some specific tests of details or substantive tests that an auditor might perform, including confirming account balances, testing accounts receivable age trial balance, and testing the sales cutoff. So when we think about confirmations, confirmations are especially useful for verifying the existence of particularly accounts receivables, but also to make sure that those sales took place. There are some factors that can affect their reliability, like our previous audit experience, who we intend to send the confirmation to, the type of confirmation that's being sent, the information that we're looking for. All of those things can help us to determine how reliable the information that we're getting is. But there are three different types of confirmations we can use: a positive, a negative, and a blank. So a positive confirmation, we send out and ask the customer or the client's customer to respond whether the balance is correct or not. So we put the balance in there and we say, is this right? Yes or no, send it back regardless. We would use this if we have a small number of accounts that are involved, or we anticipate a large number of errors. That's when we might want to use that positive confirmation. The negative confirmation is similar, but it asks the client's customer only to respond if something is wrong with that balance. So if we get no response, our assumption is that that account is fairly stated. Now, obviously, that assumption could be wrong. They could get the confirmation and not even open it or not even look at it and never send it back. So there could be errors that go uncaught. These would typically be used when our combined assessed level of risk of material misstatement, so that IR times CR, is low. So when we have that low risk of material misstatement, we might want to go with the negative confirmation. We would also use this if we were confirming a large number of small balances. We might use this. And also if the auditor has no reason to believe that the recipient of the request would be unlikely to give them consideration. So we think they're actually going to look at it. That's when we would use the negative confirmation. The last type of confirmation is called the blank confirmation. So in this, the customer is actually asked to fill in the balance. So the balance is not provided to them. This would be used if the recipient is likely to return a positive confirmation without actually verifying the accuracy of that information. So those are the three different types of confirmations. And I have an example here for you of the difference between a positive and a negative. So in this one, we're starting off with the negative. So here it gives them some information and then it says, if the information is correct, no reply is necessary. So this is that negative confirmation. Then over here, it's the exact same information. The balance is provided. We're showing, giving the information. They provide the same information down here, but it doesn't have this clause that says no reply is necessary. So we're going to want this one back regardless of whether it's correct or not. So that's going to be that positive confirmation. Now, if this was a blank confirmation, this piece right here, that balance amount, would be left blank, and we would be asking the recipient to fill that in and send that in. So those are our confirmation types. Now in real life, most of these confirmations are going to be done electronically, but we have to think about the control of these confirmations because a few times these paper ones are still given out. And a big part of the confirmation process is that the auditor needs to maintain control over the confirmations at all times. So what does this idea of maintaining control means? Well, here we have the auditor and we have our client that we are auditing, and then we have the client's customer who we are sending these confirmations to. So these arrows show us the flow of information. So the confirmation is going to start with the auditor. They're going to prepare it and give it to their client to sign so that we have permission to send these to their client. Then they're going to give them back to us and we're going to review them and make sure that everything is complete, that we have all of them that we had given them, nothing has been tampered with. Then we will send them to their client's customer and then they will send them back directly to us. This allows that confirmation to be an external piece of information or evidence to support the audit. Now here's an example where we have lost control. So we still have 1 and 2 doing the same thing. We have 3 going to the client, but then the client's customer sends it back to the client before coming to us. This makes this external internal or internal external because it's going to the client internal before it comes to us. So it's external because it's coming from the client, but it's going to it's coming from the client's customer, but it's going to the client before it makes the way to the auditor. This is a big no-no because we have lost control in this example. The next test is testing our aging of our accounts receivable. So this is an example of an accounts receivable aged trial balance. So here we have all of the accounts receivable for this particular client. So they had a total of $9 million in their accounts receivable. This is shown on their trial balance, and we have confirmed 6 of these. So here we have their confirmations, the date the confirmation was sent, the day it was received, and then their balances. So the balance goes in one of 3 buckets. So we have current, 30 to 60 days past due, 60 to 90 days past due, and greater than 90 days past due. As we move from one bucket to the next, the probability that we won't collect these, and therefore the risk, is going to increase, which is going to increase that debt allowance, our allowance for doubtful account, that debt expense. So we want to verify that this amount seems reasonable. So we're going to look at this. We're going to verify the appropriateness of our write-offs to make sure that those estimates for allowance for doubtful account and bad debt seem reasonable based on our prior audit experience, the industry percentages, recalculating this amount, to see that that seems reasonable. And then the last one is our sales cutoff procedure. So we want to make sure sales are recorded in the correct period. How can we do that? We do that by looking at some sales invoices and shipping documents and making sure that they are recorded in the correct period. So that's all, folks. I'll see you next week.